What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm in the process of looking into why I don't have a good clutch brake in this truck, and I was under the impression, the guy told me that they had put a clutch in this truck about 100,000 miles before I bought it, and so I was under the impression that they went back with a solo clutch, which is a self-adjusting clutch. You know, some people say they're okay, some people say replace it with a clutch that you adjust, a manually adjusted clutch. Anyway, I assumed that it was a self-adjusting clutch, but I noticed there was not as much free play as there should be, but I didn't think there was a way to adjust it. So anyway, I got up under here and I was looking, trying to figure out what the deal is with the clutch brake, because the clutch brake does not work if you push the clutch all the way to the floor slowly, you cannot get it in gear at a stoplight. The input shaft's still spinning. If you let off of it and you just slam the clutch down, it'll stop it and you can get it to go in gear most of the time. So I just been catching, trying to catch it when I slow down, you know, trying to catch it before it rolls to a stop, and then mash the clutch in is what I've been trying to do. Anyway, it's a little bit aggravating because it don't always work. Anyhow, so what I'm going to show you here is the free play on this, or lack thereof. That's about it. I don't know what that is, maybe an inch, but it's not enough. And I noticed that, you know, when I bought the truck, but as I say, thought it was a self-adjusting clutch because these Volvos is hydraulic. They don't have a linkage up under there. But anyway, it is not a self-adjusting clutch. I found that out after getting up under here, looking at the clutch brake. It does have a two-piece clutch brake on it. It appears so you could change the clutch brake without pulling the transmission, or without cutting the old one off and whatnot. Anyway, I've got this pry bar here that I'm gonna try to hold this clutch pedal down with, if I can, and get up under here and see about adjusting this clutch. I'm gonna need both hands to do this. Alrighty, I think that'll work right there. Alright guys, we're up under the truck. I don't know how well you can see up in here, but there's the clutch brake up in there. And here's the adjustment bolts right there. Or bolt, I should say. It's only one of them. It's got, or had, this lock tab on this lower bolt right here. And that keeps the center bolt from turning, which is your adjustment. I'm not sure what kind of clutch they call this. I'm sure somebody knows. Leave it in the comments. I don't know. I know they make it what they call an easy pedal, but I thought that it had a bolt that you just push in. In the center, it didn't have a lock on it. So somebody knows what this is, I'm quite sure. Please leave in the comments. And I'm going to try to get this up in here on this bolt right here. And tighten it up some. And then we will release the pressure off the clutch up there, and check our measurement down here on the throwout bearing, or clutch brake. So I don't know how much I moved it. I'm just going to check it right there. Anyway, on the end of this, I took both of these bolts out right here just to see, because I actually thought that piece there came off as well at first, but it does not. As I say, I haven't never seen one just quite like this. Some of the older ones had like a wedge shape bolt in those, but anyway, it's got like a gear on the end of that center bolt that goes in there and turns the I guess it'd be the clutch diaphragm or cam or whatever's in here. It's got like a ring gear, like on a flywheel, and then that little piece right there, that center bolt, has got like a starter drive on the end of it. So when you tighten that or turn it, it's adjusting this outer ring around this clutch pressure plate and whatnot here. But anyway, you have to have the clutch pressed in to do that, and at least somewhat enough to release the tension off of it. So I'm going to release the clutch pedal down there, and get back up under here and take a look and see how big a gap we got between our clutch brake and our transmission housing there, and then check the free play and all that. Alright guys, I think we're going to go some more. The widest part of this screwdriver blade is somewhere about 600 thousandths, and it's going in there. It's still a little bit much. I did have a gap between the blade when I stuck it in there, so it was a bigger gap than that. So that's going in the right direction. I just need to go a little bit more. Alright guys, I've got it adjusted up a little bit. I'm using a screwdriver blade. You can see it's tighter now. It's not going all the way in. The screwdriver blade is tapered, and the specs on this is like 490 to 590, I believe, somewhere in there, around a ½ inch. And I believe that's getting closer right there to about a ½ inch. And you're supposed to have a little bit of clearance between your fork and your bearing here, and you see there's not really any pressure on that. I don't have a feeler gauge handy, and it's a pain in the butt to get up under here, so and I think that's going to be okay right there. We'll get this thing where this clutch brake will work would be sweet. It's a little bit aggravating, and I need to grease this thing as well, because who knows when the last time it was greased. And then put our lock back on there. Maybe you can see the access hole there. Try to get a wider shot. See this hydraulic slave cylinder down here? That's the way Volvo's done it. It doesn't have an adjustable linkage or anything on it. Alright guys, we can check our free play here. It's a little bit hard to tell on a hydraulic clutch, one of these, over a one with a linkage, but I believe you'll be able to tell that that's moving quite a bit more than it was before I started. That's probably a good 2 inches right there. That's not really that important on that. What's important is that the clutch brake stops before the clutch pedal bottoms out on the stop up in here, and it wasn't before, but it is now. I can feel it. I can feel that right there. That's the clutch brake being pressed against. Before, it was going slam to the bottom here on the stop on the pedal, and the clutch brake was not doing anything. So I think that's where I want it. I'm gonna get back up under here and put the lock back down and button everything back up under here. Alright guys, you can see right there I got the lock back on there. I guess you can see that, the bottom locking tab. You can see how it overlaps right there and holds that. Then all I got to do is put the little inspection plate that goes up here back on there, but I want to grease that throwout bearing before I do that, so that I can see how much grease comes out of the throwout bearing. Alrighty, I don't know if you can see up in there. You can see the grease coming out the backside of the throwout bearing right there, and you can see the clutch brake right there. I don't know if I can get my screwdriver over here anywhere. Let's see if I can show you this here. For those of you who do not know, this piece right here is your clutch brake, and I don't know if you can see, but there is notches in this input shaft right here at the tip of my screwdriver. See that notch? There's a notch on each side. This clutch brake here is a two-piece clutch brake. It's split in the middle. You can see the split right here where it's hinged at. And anyway, this thing turns with the input shaft. Whenever you mash the clutch pedal to the floor, your adjustment between here has to be right in order for this to stop the input shaft, because these transmissions, the input shaft will keep spinning even when the clutch is mashed, and if this clutch brake is wore out, or the clutch is misadjusted, or it's missing, or whatever, anyways, the transmission input shaft will keep spinning even with the clutch pressed, and you cannot get it in gear. So that's the reason on a semi you do not press the clutch all the way to the floor. Sorry about that light, it's set on auto and I got it too close to the transmission case and it's making it go out. But anyway, you do not press the clutch to the floor unless you're at a stoplight and you're trying to get the truck to go into gear. If you do that going down the road, if you press the clutch to the floor, you know, you've got your transmission in gear, and this input shaft has been driven by the rear wheel, and if it's in neutral and you match to the floor and you stop the input shaft, well, you're not going to get it in gear anyway, because your drive shaft is still turning the rest of the gears in the transmission at speed, so that's not going to help you any. This is only for being at a stoplight and trying to get it from neutral into first or reverse or whatever into a gear from a standstill to get started, because as I say, if it's not there, you will not be getting in gear, at least not very easily, without some grinding, and which is kind of what I've been having to do, stomp the clutch pedal and you know, 2 or 3 times to get it to work, and then try to get it in some type of gear some type of way, and it's kind of hard on the transmission. So anyway, I've got it adjusted to where I think I'm gonna be happy with it, and Eaton says it's fine for grease to be on that clutch brake like that. It's designed to operate that way according to them, so that works for me. I'm gonna get the inspection plate put back up here with 2 bolts and get out from under this nasty thing. Alright guys, so it's working like it's supposed to now. It's the next day, it's pouring down raining outside. I didn't finish recording the outro for the video last night, so I'm doing so now inside where it is dry. And I want to give a thank you to JC Smith Projects for mentioning my channel the other day. And for those of you who don't know who he is, you can go check out his channel, JC Smith Projects. I'll try to leave a link in the description. But he works on a lot of medium duty trucks and some semi trucks, some light duty stuff as well. He goes and buys trucks, and he's got this record thing that he tows them home with, and does some work on them, fixes them up, resells them for a profit. And so that's kind of what he does. You can learn some stuff over on his channel. He's got a lot of neat projects going on all the time, repairing something, building something, whatnot. So anyway, just want to give a thank you to his channel again, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.